Okay, no error. Sweet countdown. Sweet countdown. I have to go close the door a little bit. Daily podcast. The audio mixer changed on OBS. Interesting. Pin message. Oh. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Then I've gotta go. Okay, sweet, I'm live. Morning, Cam. We'll go back over here. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock day trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes. Morning, Riley. Morning, Wendy. Oh, let me see. Put back out there. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock day trading podcast. I think my battery on my iPad Pro is dead. I think it's dead. Morning, Camilo. By the way, we've got a pretty good market so far. We're gonna go over that. I've got a lot of just ranting, if you will. Let's make sure. Okay, we're gonna close that. We've got Micron earnings this week. It is a big week, by the way. Let's see. We've still got the sale going on, and you do get a month of Sidekick Basic for free when you sign up. I think you can do a trial. I think you can do like a 1 month, a quarterly. I think you can do any of that, and you get 1 month of Sidekick Basic included. Daisy, I know you're hitting that. Goldman Sachs, by the way, that one's been bugging me. Why is that not a $900 stock? This, I'm not going to include this. But Warsh, the nomination, it's not great for markets because, again, you're going to have higher interest rates with Powell. But it's not bad for markets. AMD and Celestica. Ooh. Celestica is up 2%. Interesting stuff. So we've got the screeners. I've got photonics to talk about. That's a good one. We've got Meta versus Google. Which one would you rather? I'm going to say this once and for all. I mean, Tuesday office hours continues to just like pump. I was pretty clear on Tuesday office hours. I think it was this week or last week. Continue to buy Nebius under 100. And it's a good buy. I mean, God, I hope this one turns out okay. Did I get the right link? Yes. Okay. We're going to talk about that. It is an Alpha Picks day, by the way. And Micron is going to be part of my presentation today, the podcast. So using Sidekick. This is kind of, we're going to go over Alpha Picks. I mean, it's going to be an Alpha Picks kind of push. We're going to shrink that down. And then, there we go. Friday's winners, I mean, just of the top 10 on Friday, you got 3 memory names. If that was any kind of instance of, biggest stock movers today include Micron, Meta, Hive. Catalyst watch for this week. It's all about NVIDIA, the NVIDIA GTC. We'll kind of look at that one. While viewing this is a scanner. Which scanner is this? I want to ditch my Microsoft. What are the best opportunities? We'll look at this one. Upward price trajectory. Goldman Sachs. Forecasting 7,600. The tech bubble. This is if you want to trust Jim Cramer. Probably not a great thing. We'll start out with that one. And let's see, we're going to go to the core investments. Good looking day. I mean, shit. Cleveland Cliffs up 2%. Hood up 2%. IBIT up 3%. Meta's up 3%. NVIDIA's up almost 2%. Roblox is up 2%. Roblox, by the way, this chart looks amazing for a turnaround. The weekly, look at this chart with the MACD down. Look at the last time this thing traded in this range. For, let's see, this was April 2022 all the way to September 2024. Larry, and you've got, you don't have confirmation yet. So, but right at the 200 weekly average, which it bounced off of last time in April of last year, which was the, Liberation Day. But it shot up from, let's see, the lowest 50 to 150. 3 times your money from April to July. So if this is the same case, again, Roblox is an expensive stock. It's not something that I'm not in it. It is a sell from the quant. And it says, Roblox is overpriced and has decelerating momentum compared to other communication stock services to the point it gets a sell rating, not strong sell. From our quant system, stocks like this has underperformed, and you can see the price to book, the price to sales, price to book, forward EV sales, price to sales forward, price to cash flow. It's all expensive, and yet Wall Street has an 89% upside price target. Now, they've chased it down. They have chased it down from 150 all the way down to 100. In the last 90 days, 36 analysts have analyzed this one. 21 say buy. And it's not, again, you look at now versus 6 months ago. Let's see, what was it 6 months ago? You're down 58%. Yeah, Alpha Picks, I'll be on at noon today. So I will be on at noon. But that's just a crazy. It's in the portfolio, the core portfolio, not really to kind of, oh my God, it's amazing. It's meant to sit there and just kind of, hey, you could trade this one pretty well. QQQ under $600. So. Okay, let me go into, I'm going to hit record. Hit the thumbs up button if you would. Just like and subscribe. I appreciate it. It does help. Okay, let me start recording. Good morning. It is Monday, March 16th. I want to say, if you haven't rated this podcast in Spotify, go down and rate it. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button or you're not subscribed on YouTube, go and subscribe. If you could leave a review on Apple Podcasts. I saw some guy say I was condescending on the Apple comments from a few months ago. F you, douchebag. But again, the markets are the markets. I can be condescending. This is my look at the markets. I try and tell you what I do. If you take that as condescending, I don't think that's a me problem. I think it's a you problem. Let's talk about the direction of the markets. I've got a lot to go over today. It's going to be heavy analysis of specific stocks, which is what people probably tune in for. But I do want to talk about your portfolios because as you can see in QQQ, you're still along this trend line. You are still along this trend line. I repeat, the trend line has not been broken. You are between 585 and 638. Where does that trend line go? Well, if you look at the weekly, I anchored the trend line at the COVID lows. That goes all the way back 6 years ago to March of 2020, 6 years. And that trend line has been abided by, except for when the Fed was historically hiking rates at the fastest pace ever, except that, by the way, that's the only time it dipped down under, and it was a great buying opportunity. If you told me in January of 2023, when I bought QQQ, that over the next 3 years, I would literally almost triple my money, double and a half, somewhere around there, in 3 years, I'd be more than happy to buy that dip. And that's the market that we're in. Okay, that's the market that we're in. You need to find where you're comfortable. And I'm going to bring this up. Okay, this is Jim Cramer in 2008. Bear Stearns is fine. Don't worry about any scenario. Just on Friday, he's saying, I'm not buying the 2007 scenario. If you're nervous in the markets, it's not the market's problem. It's not Jim Cramer's problem. It's your portfolio. If you're listening to someone like Jim Cramer on Twitter making you feel better, or you're listening to me make you feel better about the markets, your decision is your portfolio. That's it. Jim Cramer knows what he's talking about, but he also is very owned by Wall Street. He wants CEOs on his show. I don't particularly care about CEOs coming on my show. I don't have anybody on my show. This is my look at the markets. So again, if you're nervous about this trend line holding up or the market's pulling back 40 or 50%, it's not the market's problem. It's your portfolio's problem. It's your problem because you have too much risk in the market. And so I bring that up as an example. Yeah, in 2007, this was like a Friday, and Jim Cramer said, don't worry about your money in Bear Stearns. By Monday, Bear Stearns was gone, literally gone. People, it was zero. We're not going to zero. Okay, and this was a great written article from Kindig. Tech bubble warnings cost investors a 550% Nasdaq run. I follow Beth. I've been on Spaces, Twitter Spaces with her. She's super impressive. She goes over the bubble and where we are at. She suggests cloud is in late stages, but AI is not. So when you hear about cloud and you hear about software, that's what she's saying. We may be in a bubble in certain areas of this market. But Goldman Sachs, by the way, is seeing S&P go to 7,600. And when you hear something like that, okay, SPY is where you go. Because where are we right now? You're trading in pre-market, let's see, at 668. That would mean SPY, the S&P at 760. SPY would be at 760 if the S&P's at 7,600. So you've got a good way to go. That's like a 10%, 11, 20% move somewhere from there. And Goldman Sachs is saying it could happen by the end of the year because of corporate earnings. Okay, the economy's good. Gas prices, as long as they linger, you could have a major downturn. But I've been saying this for a very long time, specifically with QQQ. If you buy this dip, we've seen it rise to 638 in October. We saw it rise back there in January. Okay, you've got a double top right there, and I think it came close in December. This 638 is a resistance level. That 558, it was a previous resistance that went through. I'm not an expert at this, but it's touched it a couple of times. The more you touch it, the more it becomes support or resistance. Hit horizontal lines. And last week, I looked at some stocks that had divergence in share price. Okay? So this weekend, I went over into Sidekick and I said, you know what? Let's look at a couple of different things. Let's look at, I like to find stocks that have an upward trend in price, but a downward trend in volume. We talked about that divergence. If the price is going up, but the volume's coming down, the volume will come back, pushing the price even higher. But I also want to find contracted Bollinger Bands, because if the price is going up and the Bollinger Bands are contracting, and if they're trading above their 200-day, I like that. And so Sidekick actually created me a scanner. And I can go over here and I can just type in, we're going to type in upward. Let's say we're going to type in upward. The daily stock pick upward price scanner. And it scans the Dow. And now you've got Amgen, which is trading above its 200-day. And you can see the price is moving up while the volume is trending down. Is Amgen a good opportunity? Use the tools that you have in front of you. Amgen, not AMD, Amgen. It is a hold in the quant. Wall Street has a 4% downside. So for me, this doesn't hit. Travelers Insurance, we can see volume moving down, price moving up, Bollinger Bands contracted. You're trading on the bottom side of this. You just passed your dividend date. RSI is at 47. Let's look at Travelers. Is this a buy or is it too late? Oh, come on. I'm having a trouble typing this morning. Travelers. Travelers Insurance, TRV, it's a hold in the quant. Wall Street has a 0.24%, so 303. Still doesn't hit for me as a great buy. We can finally look at Verizon. This is a scan that you can import into Trendspider. Boy, don't you wish you got Horizon at $35? Right before their earnings, the 4-hour algorithm said buy in. The volume trending down, the price trending up, Bollinger Band cinching, telling you it's going somewhere. Verizon is a dividend play. And when you look at the $51 price target, it is right at Wall Street's average price. But again, if you caught these at somewhere in the neighborhood of $45 or so, where the volume started going down, you have to look at these things. Now, if you want this, I'm going to include this scan. So you can take the scan and scan any list that you want. You can go over to Market Scanner and we can type in upward because I'm subscribed to it. And we can change this from the Dow. We can go and scan Alpha Picks and we can say, okay, what are some Alpha Picks that have it? Well, Micron and AGX. I've gone over both of those. Okay, we can go and we can scan, let's see, the top 2026 stocks. Do any of these? Well, Micron's a top 2026 stock. You can even go and scan the energy sector. Okay, we can go and say, let's see, sectors, energy, 193 thing, HP, NE, rig, plug. You can go and scan those. Again, this is the power of Trendspider. And you can use all of this plus my 4-hour algorithm. This is such a great tool. Again, it's a tool that I use constantly. And I've also built a scanner that I will import for you as well. We can just look at this one. I wanted to ditch Microsoft, okay? A few weeks ago, I said, hey, Microsoft, it's not a great play for me. I do want to sell this at around 460, 450 because I think that's what it's worth. And so I trimmed it up there and I said, okay, where should I put my money? And so let's go over to scanners and we can type in what. This is, let's see, I typed this, what other than Microsoft? By the way, we scan the Nasdaq 100 and it comes up with Micron. Again, a lot of this is pointing to a bullish setup in Micron. And you can import, by the way, this scanner as well, which you can see all of the scans, the symbols that it pulled up. What should I invest in other than Microsoft in the Nasdaq 100? And it pulled up Micron. You can see today it pulls up Micron. Well, what do we have going on this week? We've got NVIDIA with their GTC conference. We've got an FOMC meeting. And we've got Octa event and Triple Witching Day. And on Wednesday, you have Micron earnings. So this is the Super Bowl. This is literally the Super Bowl week when you're looking at some of this stuff. Where am I there? In my notes. Last week, I looked at these stocks. It's Super Bowl week. There it is. And the movers, by the way, this is going to include, if you look at Earnings Hub, Micron is Wednesday. We've got Oklo. You've got earnings. We just talked about how Goldman Sachs is saying that earnings is going to push this market. Know what stocks you hold and when they have earnings. When I go over here to my home and I go on Seeking Alpha, again, the tools that I have, I can look at the earnings calendar and then it comes up with upcoming earnings of your stocks. This literally takes anything that you have in your portfolios and puts them over here as far as earnings go. And so I've got Micron earnings this week. Big earnings. Micron is ranked a 4.99 out of 5 on the Seeking Alpha quant system. It's got great valuation, got great growth, great profitability, great momentum, and revisions in the last 90 days. Nobody's bringing their earnings down. And so when you look at this catalyst watch, you have to know what you own and if there are catalysts this week in your stocks. Okay? And if you didn't know, biggest movers today, Meta, which I said, hey, anything close to 600 is a great one. Shares climbed following slight gains in other Mag 7 stocks. But Meta is reportedly planning to initiate a widespread layoff. That's good for the stock. Look at what happened. Go and ask Sidekick, by the way. What happened the last time that Meta laid off staff? Go and look at the stock price. Micron shares rose after the company announced plans to build a second chip manufacturing in Taiwan. The site includes 300K, again, building. And if you didn't notice, by the way, on Friday, I've been going over memory for quite a while, since August. These are the top 10 gainers from Friday in the S&P. Number 1, SanDisk memory up 6.76%. Number 3, Micron up almost 5%. And number 7, Western Digital up almost 5%. Three of the top 10, I am heavy into Micron. Why? Well, kind of started right before Alpha Picks actually got it. We have a new Alpha Pick today at noon. The performance of the portfolio, unbelievable, up 293%, while the S&P is up 80%. We have a new Alpha Pick at noon. I will be on Substack today, by the way. If you're interested in joining me, every link that I mentioned is on Linktree. linktr.ee. You can see Daily Stock Pick newsletter. Click on that, takes you to the Substack newsletter. You can join me live today at noon Eastern for a new Alpha Pick. But I do want to go over a little bit about Alpha Picks. There were 3 Alpha Picks on Friday that were up over 6%. That were 3 Alpha Picks names that were up over 6% last week. While the market is flat, the portfolio continues to have some very solid names that are providing great gains. My personal Alpha Picks portfolio, again, I overweight them because I use Trendspider. So what I do is I take those strong buys and I say, hey, it's a strong buy in the portfolio and I want to add to this and I want to own a little bit more. I will personally tell you, Micron is over 20% of my Alpha Picks portfolio. My personal Alpha Picks portfolio is down a little under 2% over the last month, while the S&P is down 2.6%. The actual Alpha Picks portfolio, it's down more than 5% at 5.7 over the last month. I'm mostly overweight on some of these stocks that have been running. As I have been using Sidekick, again, use the tools that are in front of you. I've been using Sidekick to look up names and optimize my buys and sells in keeping things overweight and underweight. Is this a good time to buy Alpha Picks? Again, say you go and order Alpha Picks. You go over to Linktree and you click on this third link, or you click on the bundle and you get that. I always suggest the bundle because it saves you over 159%. But let me just go over something, okay? In 1 month on Alpha Picks, you're down 5.76%. It's underperforming the S&P because the S&P is only down 2.8%. But that's a good thing because in 3 months, you're up 2.04% in Alpha Picks, okay? S&P is down 2.8%. You're up 2% if you have this portfolio. Over 6 months, you're up 10%. The S&P is flat at 0.74%. 1 year, you are up 69.86%, outperforming the S&P by almost three times. Because the S&P over 3 times, the S&P is only up 20%. So year to date, when you're down in this portfolio, it's time to double down. It's time to get into Alpha Picks. In my opinion, the short term, remember where we were 1 year ago. I'm just going to go back to QQQ. Because 1 year ago, if we go back here, I've been pointing out this red box in here. If you go to the second week or the third week in March, okay, where were we? We were right at this line. Now, if you were buying Alpha Picks at this line, from this point to this point, you're up 70%, while the S&P is up 20%. You have outperformed in Alpha Picks. So when your short term is underperforming, buy the portfolio, buy the dip. It's like last March. Sure, it continued to go down from last March. You didn't know. And yes, with the Iran hearing stuff, we may continue to go down. But these are quality stocks and quality rebounds fast. And if you want to know how to buy the Alpha Picks portfolio, here's a video of me from August 2023 putting $50,000 into the Alpha Picks portfolio. It is, if you just go over to my YouTube channel, go to Linktree, okay? You go to YouTube, and it will bring up my channel. Go to playlists, and you go to the tools I use. Now, the tools I use has this, I bought $50,000 of Alpha Picks portfolio. That's the video. That's literally the video. And so if you want to see me use any of these tools, you can do that. Now let's talk about using Sidekick along with Alpha Picks, because we know Alpha Picks as a portfolio outperforms. And this is just a chart that I did. Okay, I spent hours and hours on this on Google LLM, and I said, you know what? Let's put my thoughts into a chart. And so fundamentals, I use Seeking Alpha. I want to know that Seeking Alpha is a strong buy on a stock. Micron, strong buy. Okay? I want to know that technicals are good. So I went over, I say I don't know anything about Micron. Okay? Say I know nothing about Micron and I know their earnings are coming up. I go over to Sidekick and I say, can you do a full Wall Street style analysis on Micron before their earnings? What price should I pay? Are there any chart issues? What about the stock right now? Go over option sentiment before earnings and let me know of support and resistance level as well as earnings and expectations. Okay? Key takeaways. Micron beats estimates almost every single quarter, but it sells off the last 5 out of 8 times, okay? Moderate 5 to 10% pullbacks, because in this stock that has been this explosive, 5 to 10% is moderate. Only massive beats means huge gains. So if we go and look at Micron and we say, okay, what are the estimates? Well, here on Earnings Hub, I can see earnings per share. Last time they actually reported $3.82. Or I'm sorry, $4.78. They reported $4.78. They're expected $8.61. So higher expectations, that's going to be tough. So we know that's going to be tough. Look at the price targets, okay? The price targets that it pulls up, Wells Fargo, 470, Susquehanna, 525, Citigroup, 430, Stifel, 550. Again, this is all done for me in Sidekick. And it's currently trading at, let's see, where is it? Micron is currently trading at 426 on Friday. It is up 4% at 444. A resistance and price is pressing up against current levels. So we can see if I just bring this down and we look at Micron, I'll show you exactly. Micron, it actually put all of the support and resistance in there for me. It literally did all of the work with those horizontal lines. You can see support at 372, the report at 405, 432 is resistance zone. And we're at 444 in pre-market, okay? The MACD, all of this, by the way, it goes over. Chart analysis, MACD, same as it was in January and February with the sell-offs. RSI, mid-range, not overbought. Moving averages, all below where the price is. Bullish trend is intact, double top risk. The price rejected at 430 twice in February and again on Friday. Triple test of resistance going into earnings means that if a pullback after earnings, that's your top. But we're seeing in pre-market, it's at 444. So what am I doing? I'm holding. And if it pulls back 5 to 8%, like anticipated, and you can see, here's the key risks. If it pulls back 5 to 8% like anticipated, like Sidekick tells me, I will buy the dip because I know the risks. Again, Sidekick and Alpha Picks together are great. And why do I suggest the bundle? By the way, this is the high conviction zone. If you want to know where I'm putting Micron, it's in that high conviction zone. And it's been there. And I've been adding to it below 400. And why do I suggest this bundle? Okay, Premium and Alpha Picks. There are 3 tools that I use. There is Seeking Alpha Premium, there is Alpha Picks, and there is Trendspider. Those are the 3 tools that I use, and you get 2 of them in a bundle, Premium and Alpha Picks. And if you want to know why, it's so that I can read these style of Seeking Alpha analysts. They're doing a great job. The analysts beat the market. They outperform the market. It has been proven in numbers. Micron stock gets powerful setup ahead of earnings. And then another one, Micron Q2 earnings preview. Expect another monster quarter. And by the way, within this, if I had to mention it again, we can go and look at Credo, which is an alpha pick, and I had Sidekick do it. When I'm considering buying 75 to 80 post earnings, let's see, 65 to 70. If you go and look at Credo, we bought the dip. Why? Because Sidekick nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. And now you're at 117. Let's see, in pre-market, you're at 119. As you get to that 134, you can start to sell, but post earnings, those earnings were good. So maybe you want to go over to Alpha Picks and take a look at some strong buys. Go and look at the portfolio. When you're in Seeking Alpha, you have it right there. Go and look at those. Because again, if you have the strong buy conviction in that strong zone, you've got CLS, you've got Sterling, you've got SSRM, all of which have delivered over 120% to 865% returns while in that Alpha Picks portfolio. Join me at noon today. Again, join me at noon today on Substack for another pick. Now, let's talk about investing. Because strategies. I put a note for paid members about my outlook and why I've been adding to QQQ in the Substack chat on Friday, okay? Realize this may not be for everyone. Some people can't sleep with the amount of risk when World War III could be breaking out in the Middle East. Maybe invest in strictly, this points out that if you invested at the top of every single market, you'd still beat holding cash. You would still beat holding cash, even if you invested at the very top of every single market pop. Maybe that's just not for everybody. I buy QQQ and VOO whenever I see a drop. Why? Because I know old all-time highs lead to newer highs, and that's the market that we're in. Go and look at a monthly chart of QQQ. It does seem extended. The RSI was at 72. It came down to 66. And we're just seeing a flat market. New all-time highs lead to new all-time highs. But that may not be for everybody. And you may not want QQQ. You may not want VOO. There's a sector for every single stock. XLK, VGT, healthcare, XLV, VHT, consumer discretionary, financials, rinse and repeat. You can find these. You can do your research. You have AI. I used to literally have to go and ask somebody at a brokerage firm, what ETF should I buy? I no longer have to do that. You have AI. So this may be a strategy. Instead of single stocks, go and get a sector. XLE, we can talk about, again, why I love seeking alpha, market data. Look at the US equity sectors. Year to date, energy is up 29%. That's XLE. That is an amazing return in less than 3 months. Okay? If you're in tech, you're down 5%, and I'm in tech. So maybe sector ETFs, they actually even out a little bit of the risk. Now, I give a lot of strategies in my office hours. If you go and look at these Tuesday office hours, it's an Ask Me Anything platform. I'm going to take that out. And basically, I just go on about, hey, if somebody asked me about a stock, and I think it was a few weeks ago, when somebody asked me a strategy, they said, hey, I've got Nebius and it's not doing all that well. I bought and I loaded into this one at 130, 120, somewhere in that neighborhood. I think they loaded in at the high. Now, I believed in this one. So I basically gave you my strategy. And the person who asked that, I said, hey, I'm buying whenever this one dips under 100. Why? I've identified that 100 right there, that $98. And 100 was great round number. September 10th, it pumped up there, okay? And it sat and it pulled back. That was the last pullback. And I said, you know what? Right now, I think this one is a great stock. Is it in the high conviction zone? No, it's not a strong buy in the quant. It's a hold in the quant. And it's been a hold forever. Okay, but Wall Street has a $154 price target on it. So for me, and again, when you go to revisions, there's a lot of people bringing these down, only one up, one down. But this is a pumper. And so when I said, hey, I'm loading into this one under 100, I'm now way up on this. In pre-market, you are up at 125. I was sitting at a loss for a while because at this 110, when it pulled back, I started adding, I think around this point, it might have been around 100. I added more at like 120. I added more at about 110. And then once it got on under 100, I started adding bigger lots because I was big on this one pumping. And then what we saw last week was they went into a deal with NVIDIA. It pumped on Friday. Okay. And then in pre-market, it was up 4% on Friday. Pre-market, you're up 13% because they signed a deal with Meta. This is one of those power company. They basically hold data power. I don't even know what they do. I just know it's a pumper. And so I could be wrong. But there's other places that you could do for pumpers. And they could be an incredibly NBIA. Let's see. I think it, NBIG. NBIG is a leveraged 2 times on Nebius. Got you in at 7. Do you see a pattern here? Do you see a pattern around $7 where if you bought under there and then just sold over, you'd be okay? In pre-market, by the way, this is at $11. The 4-hour algorithm had you bought at $7 there and we're up at 11. Let's see, 11 something. You're up 66% in just a couple of days, 3 days. That's amazing. NBIL, it's another leveraged ETF. Again, it is up at $15. If we just look at this one, $10 on the 4-hour algorithm to 15. Let's see, 59, 60% in a few days. Again, I give a lot of these strategies in the newsletter on Tuesday office hours. The amount that I charge, not that much. I think it's like $200 for the year. So if you're interested in stuff like that, join me. Now I just talked about Meta. I got hit on Friday. It got hit on Friday. Let's look at Meta, because Meta is one of these stocks that just, the same thing. It just gets knocked down and then it goes back up. If we look at a weekly, are we still in an upward trajectory? Yes. Anywhere near $600 for me is a buy. Now I've got a large position in this. I sold a bunch at 700. I'm looking to add back. But let's talk about it, because Meta, what does Meta need? Meta is in the business of eyeballs. And so far they are failing in the AI space. The Wall Street, the reason it got hit on Friday is the Wall Street Journal reported that their model is going to be delayed. And then you have Meta as a company spending a ton of money. And that's what's getting it knocked down. Now, Wall Street sees the spending and doesn't bring their target down. So you are currently 40% below your Wall Street average price target. Now, when you look at the revisions, they're all bringing it down. Their earnings per share. Why? Because they're spending. The revenue's not going down. It's the earnings per share that's going down because of the spending. Now, if the AI is delayed, this could continue to get knocked down. You have a great opportunity. The last time this stock was as low on the MACD was April 14th during Liberation Day. The stock was trading at $500. If you told me that just in a year I could go from 500 to 600, I'd take that day all the time. I'd take that buy. Again, back here in 2022, when they were, this was the earnings where there was spending concerns, and you went down all this way. But again, even if you bought at this point at 300, did you outpace the S&P? Probably not. You were down 72%. You had plenty of time to get out. But over 4 years, you're up 90%. Anytime you can double a stock in 5 years, I'm happy about it. But again, they are in the business of eyeballs. So if there's a delay in the AI, that's not a good thing. So what if Google were just to license and use Google Gemini? This is I'm going to look at a 10-year chart, okay? A 10-year chart of their PE. This is the price to earnings. A 10-year chart of their PE versus Google. Which one do you think has a better chance of keeping eyeballs, Google or Meta? Because Google already has the AI. Meta doesn't. I don't even use Meta AI. You're currently paying more for Google, but what if Google dipped below 300 again? Because if we look at Google stock, which one are you actually going to buy? Is it Google or is it Meta? Because Google right now is trading at 302 and they have the same PE as Meta. Wall Street price target for Google, we can go and look. Again, Meta, we can look, we just saw it. Their price target from Wall Street, it's 40% below. If we go and look at Google, they're only 20% below. Same PE. Again, same PE. Which one are you buying? because Wall Street price target for Google is only 20%. Meta has a 40% upside. Mind you, I never use Meta AI, nor do I even think about using it. I don't. But they are spending a ton of money. And all this need, by the way, Meta is up today just on rumors that they're going to lay off people. And so they're continuing to spend. But what if they license Google? It was a great explanation to me. I liked it. I'm adding to Google. But I also love Meta because Meta's got opportunities here. If they just lay off people and save that money and spend more on the AI model, and then they get something that's working, don't put Zuck behind a roadblock. He's gonna find a way out of there. And I will tell you, photonics. I've been the first to cover many. This is the Serenity supply chain photonics. Most are up 100 to 400% since he's posted, and he's going about it again. Tower Semi, Sotec, defensible compounders over time from Cohere. This is a great list, and he goes over all of the photonic, all of the elevator pitches. I like this one. Now, I'm going to bring up, how do you find these stocks? Well, I just showed you a great list on Twitter, but I like Seeking Alpha, okay? And I like, if you scroll down on your left-hand side, this top stock sections is great. The other one, again, Micron at the top. Do I need to be more bullish? But you can go into Stock Screener. And this has everything. This has everything. Don't forget, you've got top trending AI stocks. You got top semiconductor stocks. You've got rumored M&A activity, top high dividend yield stocks. One of them, Pine, has a 10% year-to-date gain and a 6.5% yield. I actually like, there's a stocks by quant. I like this one. Top quant stocks. What does it have? It's got SanDisk. It's got Micron. It's got Light. It's got Fastly. So again, this is great. Don't give up on this one because all of these stocks are fantastic. Now, if we go over and we look at the top shorted stocks, where's the top shorted? Top rated, top stocks by quant. There is a top shorted, top energy, because these, if you want to find most shorted stocks, if you want to find the most shorted stocks, these have the opportunity to pop. We can go over and look at Light. Okay, Light is, yes, it's most shorted. Year to date, it's up 70%. Over 1 year, 932%. And yes, it's one of the most shorted. Look at Fastly. Okay, Fastly, year to date, up 141%. Yes, one of the most shorted. We can go and look at CDE. This is an alpha pick. Now, year to date, it's not doing great. It's up 13%. But over 1 year, it's up 239%. And yes, it's an alpha pick. And it's got an 11% short interest. Now, one thing I don't talk about a lot, but I actually use, is the Pro Quant portfolio. And I'm going to bring you a couple of insights here for the Pro Quant portfolio. I don't talk about it much because it's probably only for about 10% of the people that actually listen to this podcast. So I bring it up because it does give me some great insights. You can try it out for $89 for the first month. Again, over on Linktree, you can get Seeking Alpha Pro, and it is $89 for the first month. But I want to bring up a couple of things. It's a nice option, okay? A couple of the things that I do use are this upgrades and downgrades. You get upgrades and downgrades, which I use quite a bit to see if there's stocks that I want to trade. If I'm feeling like I want to trade, I want to know a stock that just moved, okay? A good example of this is VSAT, okay? This stock, you may have it in a portfolio and you can get an email every day if you have it in a portfolio, but this is a great example, okay? I've had my eye on this because one of my friends actually work here. And if we go back to August 8th, because that was when I first started noticing this, it was trading at $25 and it's a strong buy, okay? August 8th, strong buy. when it finally moved to a hold, okay, for 2 days, it was at 36. So 25 to 36. Not a bad 40% move. When it moved back to strong buy, it was 37. Okay. So again, if you had this in your portfolio, you're getting an alert. And then when did it move to from a strong buy to a hold again? 42, 37 to 42, a nice 16% move. It moves back and forth because you've got it at 45 and then it moves at 45 to hold, and you can see it moves. Now it's getting ready to move again. It's at 46. And a good example on another one, SANM. This is one that I saw Friday. And if we go and look at the quant, it went from buy to strong buy. Today it's a hold. But using the two tools that I have in front of me, I went over to Sidekick, okay? And I said, hey, can you do a post-earnings analysis? Because they just had earnings. And it popped. If we go and look at the chart, let's look at SANM. And again, use all the tools that are in front of you. And this is why I like the Pro Quant, because I can look at this. Again, it's dipped down from their earnings to 127. Is this a buy opportunity? Post-earnings action, the ugly reality. Since the earnings high, SANM has crashed 31%. You can see it outlines key support and resistance, chart indicators. Price is well above both the 4-hour algorithm bearish structure. Insider activity, they've been selling. They've been selling a lot. Market sentiment, bullish signals. Argus research just confirmed by price target at 170. SANM is trading at 125. Bearish signals, heavy insider selling, 31% drawdown. Here's the outlooks. By September 2026, the next earnings, likely April, early May, is the key catalyst. If SANM posts another strong beat, the 140 to 155 price zone becomes achievable because these were good earnings. So let me be straight with you. This is not a surge buy right now. It's a sharp decline. The stock is down 31% from its high. You may be asking whether to buy the dip. Here's the honest picture. The business is performing exceptionally well. The chart structure is broken and bearish. Insiders are selling into strength. 125 support is holding, but very thin. Analyst target, $200 implies enormous upside if you trust it. The risk reward depends entirely on whether the 125 holds. It is not a low risk entry at the moment. A failed hold of 125 drags it to 110, 115. If it stabilizes and reclaims 130 to 135 with volume, that would be a more constructive signal. So again, it's telling me, hey, don't buy this 127, 125. It's at 119. If it doesn't hold, then we're going to continue with the 50-day down in that direction. But it's something to put into a watch list. And I like, again, with this Pro Quant portfolio, the Pro Quant portfolio, it's an equal weighted portfolio that began last June. It's doubling the equal weighted S&P. My issue with that portfolio, I don't like equal weight. I just don't. But it is outperforming the equal weight portfolio. Is it outperforming the S&P? Well, it's positive. But I like it because it tells me when they get in and out of some particular stocks. And it's a weekly rebalancing. We're getting an alpha pick today, but that's the 1st and the 15th. This every Monday, it tells you literally. So I want to go over a great example of this is if we look at Micron. Let's go back and look at the Micron chart. Because I want to point out to you that Micron, they got into Micron back in, let's see, is that they had Micron back in August, okay? They had Micron way back here in the 100s. Alpha Picks, let me look at my, Alpha Picks added it in October. So again, they had this move all the way till October. Let's see, where's October? Right here. They had almost 100% gain. It also gives me great new ideas because LITE This one's in the Pro Quant portfolio. It was added on 112. It's returned 72% since it was chosen. That one is not in Alpha Picks. And if we go and look at LITE, this one is ranked 4.99 out of 5. And again, LITE was added to the Pro Quant portfolio on 112. And if we go and look at where it was trading at 112, it was down here at about $330. You're at $654 right now. One of the most recent picks, okay, is ORLA. It's dipped hard. And the 4-hour algorithm looks great. It returns you 120%. Sure, buying and holding returns you 370%. But a strong buy in the quant, because ORLA, again, does this fit the high conviction zone, 4.87. So I added this note. This is my journal. 314 added to the Pro Quant portfolio, and I just noted this. It's dipped hard, and the 4-hour algorithm alert has been set. The winning percentage on the 4-hour algorithm, if we just go look at this, it wins 59% of the time, an average win of 11%. So again, using those tools together, I set an alert for when the 4-hour algorithm gives me a buy. Again, it wins 60% of the time. Average win is 11%. I'm okay with that. I want this type of thing. So again, the Pro Quant portfolio, try it out for $89. I have no doubt in my mind that you most likely, if you traded within this type of system, you could make that money back. Go and check it out. Again, use Linktree and check it out. But I like the Pro Quant portfolio for stuff like that. Now, crypto, we go over crypto because IBIT and Bitcoin and Ethereum are up. Okay, this is up 4%. For me, buying under 40, great buy. Did I load into it? No. I have bought here, I bought here, I bought here, I bought here. Again, at these points in times, I was buying. So this is a long-term buy and hold. I'm just building my position. Ethereum, ETHA, is what I personally hold. Again, I've been buying the same kind of thing. Am I positive in this? No. But I learned my lesson last time. Again, strategies matter. My lesson is I'm going to buy and hold this for a very long time. So the summary, if you're interested in knowing the stocks that I own, or the stocks that I currently hold, why I hold them, and where I've been adding to them, the paid newsletter is what you can get. And here's the price, okay? Free for everyone. You get free podcasts. You guys know you get free podcasts. You get the newsletter that are like the cliff notes for you OGs. You get the pod notes. You get free bullish stocks that I scan for, that I look for. Paid members, you get bonus podcasts. You get Tuesday office hours. You get newsletters with education. You get specific stock tips. You get exclusive interactive chats with me and videos. Ask Me Anything's on Tuesdays. You get commercial-free podcasts. You get free access to all of my paid Savvy Trader portfolios. And tomorrow, I am going over 15 stocks that I currently hold, why I hold them, what gains I've made on them. I've got my list already made. I said it last week and I'll say it again. My portfolio management is based on my own situation. Your situation is far different from mine. Following anybody on trades, including me, I never recommend it, but people seem to like it. And I seem to make a very good call, like Nebius under 100. And so the Tuesday office hours are for that. What I do recommend for people, rather than following me, is to go to Linktree and look at the tools that I use. There's Premium and now there's Alpha Picks. And if you're not interested in Alpha Picks, you don't want the portfolio, you don't care about the portfolio, you don't care about following me, you want to do your own research, get a free 7-day trial of Seeking Alpha Premium. Just go and get the quant scoring of the stocks that you hold. Okay? And then go and get a trial of Trendspider. It's on sale. I recommend this left-hand side, the advanced, up to 52 training sessions per year with the advanced. And you get the bonus of Sidekick Basic when you sign up under this St. Patrick's Day sale. The only tools that I use are Trendspider and then this bundle, Seeking Alpha Premium and Alpha Picks. That is the sweet spot. And yes, I do have Seeking Alpha Pro, like I went over. But as a multimillionaire, okay, I am a multimillionaire. It's the only product that I was not a paying subscriber for before I became an affiliate. Seeking Alpha Premium and Alpha Picks, I was a paying subscriber. Trendspider, I was a paying subscriber. Okay? I think you can take these tools and take my head. I have over 40 years of trading and investing experience in my head and finding stocks. This lets me do that in a very easy, simple, and time-effective way. I'm on spaces with these guys who are like, yeah, I was up at like 4 a.m. researching stocks, and you can do this, you can do that. I don't have to get up at 4 a.m. Want to know why? Because I can set the alerts the night before. And I can say, hey, let me go and trade this one. Let me go and trade this one. And yeah, if there's other news that I want to see, I can go over to the home page of Seeking Alpha and say, oh, this one's running. Maybe it surges, California orders removal. I can do all of that. And if I need to know what stocks are coming up on earnings that I follow, I have my upcoming earnings on my stocks. So it's very simple. It is super, super easy. It is concise. It is simple. It's not something where you need to follow me. So say you're like, hey, Gary, I don't care what you own. Get the free one and then go and get the tools. Try it out for yourself. If you don't have the money or don't have a large enough portfolio, then use tools that will work for you, because I only started using these tools in 2020. They have become super effective and even more effective than the free tools that I used for years. My only regret is that I didn't find Trendspider and Seeking Alpha and Alpha Picks sooner. So if you have any questions, even on Linktree, I've got my email address. You can simply reply to the email that you get from the newsletter every day. I am open. I will answer any question that you have. If you have any questions, again, hit me up. I will see you at noontime on Substack today. I will see you tomorrow at office hours. Okay, bye. Morning, DJ. Morning, Colin. C-Web. Let's go here. I'm going to take this out, and we're going to plug this in. Ooh. Yeah, Pro is interesting. I included Pro today because they didn't have buys or sells last week at all. And I found that interesting. I don't think the portfolio is performing exceptionally well. And I've never liked an equal weighted portfolio. And I was honest with Steve when he asked how I liked Pro. Steve is great. And he said, hey, have you gotten Pro? And I said, yeah, I got it, but I don't use it. Just, you find your happy place and you kind of just. Okay. We've got that. Push this down here. I don't think most people will get past 5 minutes of today's podcast. If they do, great. If you don't, so be it. Export file. Let's go and copy this. Next. Save. I'm going to look at the notes. I'm going to turn off my do not disturb. Hamid has a... he bought Robinhood Ventures. RVI. He bought the RVI. Let's see. It was an IPO, so no. 2270. I mean, this is a 5-minute chart. And yeah, he paid full 20. Oh, he bought it as part of Robinhood's early price, which was 25. And it opened at 22 for public trading. Interesting. 941, where's Apple? I mean, that's my go-to. When I look at charts and stuff, I want to know where Apple is. I have to go call my parents. They're getting a difference of 24,000 and 30,000 between two offers from Carvana. Interesting. My first water bill from let me see. iMovie is still going. Yeah. Boy, that's not even close. It was a 53-minute podcast today. Wow. Let's go do a thumbnail for today. Let's do... Daisy, what are you crying for? Let's do... Let's upload file. This one. Can you... Let's see. I'm gonna blow bubbles. Ooh, my back. It's now 9:44. I gotta probably get off here. You know what? I'm just gonna do my due diligence. Yeah, I like that. Okay. I will talk to you guys at noon. See ya.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.